Well, my friends, the Units 5 and 6 portfolio is upon us. It's not going to be much different than the earlier portfolios that we have worked on this semester, Units 1 and 2, and also the Units 3 and 4. This is going to be due next week, Wednesday, January 12th by 3 p.m. However, you have the entire period today to work on this Friday, and we'll also give you some time Monday and Tuesday as well. Once again, and I can't stress this enough, please remember that you must submit everything in your own words. It's not acceptable to copy someone else's work and try to pass it off as your own. Also, remember, if you copy something from the internet and just change a few words, that's still copying. So please, everything in your own words. I don't care about spelling mistakes. I don't care about typos. Or grammatical errors. I just want to know what's in your head. What do you think about these topics? And can you prove your thesis? That's the entire goal of this, just like we've been doing all along. All right. The two questions for the synthesis questions are actually quite similar. The first one asks, why is the legislative branch more powerful than the executive branch? And then the next one asks, why is the executive branch more powerful than the legislative branch? So obviously, the founding fathers wanted to try to keep everything equal. That's why they had what's called checks and balances between the legislative, executive, and judicial branches. But you can make arguments that the legislative branch is more powerful than the executive branch, and vice versa. Many people have argued that the executive branch is far more power than the legislative branch. So your goal is to try to take both sides of the same argument. All right. Why is the legislative branch more powerful than the executive branch? You're going to start off with a standalone thesis statement. You're going to review your textbook and notes to determine the reasons you choose. You may have to research a little bit on your own. And remember, you are going to give 3 examples supporting your opinion. So your first one, I've put the structure of the thesis here for you, just like I've done in the past. The legislative branch is more powerful than the executive branch because, and here is where you're going to delete these lines and enter in what you think is the reason. Okay. So you will go ahead and do that for your top 3 examples. So all 3 examples must be in your thesis. And then down here in the supporting details is where you explain it. This is a paragraph, at least one paragraph, supporting what you stated in your thesis. Your thesis is your opinion. Down here is where you support it. Prove to the reader that what you said is true. Now, you're going to take the opposite side of the argument. You're going to argue in the second one that the executive branch is more powerful than the legislative branch. Again, you're going to have to use your textbook. You're going to have to go back in your notes. Remember, the legislative branch was the last unit we covered, so you can go back there. And again, you're going to come up with 3 examples, okay? Again, for both of these synthesis essays, make sure you go back and look at the checks and balances chart. That will really help you. All right. Same thing again. You're going to give your, I got a channel. I'll fix this. But yes, the thesis statement should look the same as up here. So I'll go ahead and fix that in just a minute. And then 3 in-depth supporting details. Finally is your evidence. Now, if you've noticed, we've been quite busy lately, and we don't have a lot of evidence from which to choose for the past 2 units. So I'm giving you one choice and one choice only. The good news is you only have to have one piece of evidence. The bad news is that you don't have a choice this time. Normally you have a menu of 5 or 6 pieces of evidence, then you pick, 1 or 2. This time you've got 1 to choose from. So anyway, how does the bill become a law? You're going to go back into Google Classroom, find this activity, and you are going to paste the link below. Remember that your evidence represents your best work. So revise it, make sure, beef it up if you need to, and complete it. At the very bottom is the rubric as to how I'm going to grade you. So once again, you have the entire hour today, Friday. You have the weekend, and you have Monday and Tuesday and part of Wednesday next week. This will be due by 3 p.m. next Wednesday, January 12th. Make sure you click submit. Folks, please, you want to get this done. Remember your portfolio, all 3 of these submissions, units 1 and 2, units 3 and 4, units 5 and 6, are for a total worth 20% of your grade. So you want to do a good job on this. As always, email me if you have any questions, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Have a great weekend and stay warm.